In the early 90s, Michael Jackson was the most famous human being on Earth. He was also holding a financial asset worth billions, the Beatles catalog. But by August 1993, the world woke up to a different story, a story that would destroy his reputation, his spirit, and eventually his life. The public narrative was vanity. They said he wanted to be white, but the medical reality was vitiligo, a disease where pigment-producing cells die. According to Dr. Steve Hufflin, it was Dr. Arnold Klein who made the decision to bleach Michael's face using Benequin. Klein admitted on Larry King Live that Michael was proud of his black heritage. But the vitiligo was so severe, Klein decided the only way to even out the blotches was to destroy the remaining pigment. This left Michael permanently stripped of his natural protection and totally allergic to the sun. While Michael battled his changing biology, a storm was brewing in Beverly Hills. Enter Evan Chandler, a dentist who hated his job and dreamed of being a Hollywood screenwriter. Evan Chandler, voice actor / audio clip. If I go through with this, I win big time. There's no way that I lose. Michael's career will be over. These are the secret recordings from July 1993. Evan Chandler didn't sound like a concerned father. He sounded like a man negotiating a deal. Evan believed Michael's friendship with his son, Jordan, was his ticket to Hollywood. He demanded a $20 million movie deal. When Michael's team countered with a mere $350,000, Evan snapped. He told the boy's stepfather, "My instructions were to kill and destroy." But Evan wasn't working alone. Enter Victor Gutierrez, a man central to the 1993 and 2005 allegations. Investigative reports link Gutierrez to NAMBLA, a pro-pedophilia organization. At a 1986 conference, Gutierrez reportedly heard a disturbing strategy: out Michael Jackson as a pedophile to normalize the behavior. Gutierrez spent years planting seeds in the minds of Michael's employees and associates. He didn't find victims, he crafted them. Even stranger? Gutierrez was an informant for the LAPD and had contacts in the FBI. The theory? A fabricated pedophile Michael Jackson was the perfect distraction for the real predators in Hollywood's elite circles. Back to Evan Chandler. His son, Jordan, had repeatedly denied any abuse. Evan needed to change that. Under the guise of a dental procedure, Evan injected his own son with sodium amytal. Sodium amytal isn't a truth serum. It's a barbiturate that makes patients highly suggestible. Experts state that false memories can be implanted by the mere asking of a question. It was only after this drugging that the accusations appeared. The investigation hit a dead end. No evidence. But the prosecution had a trump card: a body search. Based on information leaked by Dr. Klein, police stripped Michael Jackson to photograph his genitals, looking for specific markings described by the accuser. It was a horrifying nightmare. But here is the twist. The description given by the boy, the one supposedly coached by the extortionists, did not match Michael's body. The smoking gun failed. The case should have died there. But Michael's own lawyers settled, robbing him of his day in court. Why go to these lengths? Why frame a global icon? Follow the money. In 1985, Michael bought the ATV catalog for $47.5 million. By 2009, it was worth nearly $2 billion. Industry insiders suggest a music mafia wanted that catalog. They knew Michael would never sell, unless he was bankrupt. The scandals, the settlements, the trials, they were all designed to bleed him dry, forcing a sale of his most prized asset. Years later, reports surfaced that Jordan Chandler cut ties with his parents. Witnesses were prepared to testify that Jordan admitted it was all a lie. Michael was exonerated in 2005, but the damage was done. The script had been followed to the letter. They didn't just want his reputation, They wanted his legacy, and in the end, the price of the king's crown was his life. To understand the death of Michael Jackson, you don't look at the medicine cabinet, you look at the bank account. Michael owned the ATV catalog, the rights to the Beatles. It was the most valuable asset in the music industry. And for decades, powerful men wanted to take it from him. The 1993 allegations didn't just hurt Michael's reputation, they drained his liquidity. The settlement cost him $20 million. He owed promoters a fortune. According to the report, this financial vulnerability forced Michael into a corner. His lawyer, John Branca, proposed a solution. Merge with Sony. Michael got a check for $150 million, but Sony got their foot in the door. They now owned half the catalog. By 2002, the partnership had turned into a war. Michael accused Sony of sabotaging his album Invincible to bankrupt him, which would force him to sell his remaining share of the catalog, the villain in Michael's eyes. Sony CEO, Tommy Mottola. Michael Jackson, archive audio. Tommy Mottola is a devil. The report alleges Mottola threatened to ruin Michael. On conference calls, he reportedly told the singer, "I will ruin you." Mottola was eventually ousted from Sony in 2003, but the report claims the Music Mafia, a network of powerful executives, including David Geffen, had already marked Michael as a target. Paranoia set in. In 2003, Michael hired Yuval Aviv, a former Mossad agent, to investigate his own team. The result was the explosive Interfor report. The findings? Betrayal. The report alleged a conspiracy between Michael's lawyer, John Branca, and his enemy, Tommy Mottola, to divert funds into offshore accounts. Michael fired Branca immediately. He was so terrified of a hit being put out on him that he surrounded himself with security from the Nation of Islam. For a brief moment, the vultures were kept at bay, but not for long. Fast forward to 2009. Michael is living in Las Vegas. He's not abusing drugs. He passes a strict physical exam by Lloyd's of London, with flying colors. Enter AEG Live. They pitch a comeback. This is it. 10 shows. Michael agrees. But suddenly, 10 shows became 50. Michael was trapped. He told fans, "I don't know how I'm going to do 50 shows. I'm really angry with them." Internal emails revealed the promoters viewed Michael with disdain, calling him a freak. They misled him about the workload. And then, they brought in the doctors. In March 2009, Dr. Arnold Klein returned to Michael's life to rebuild his face. The report states Klein immediately began injecting Michael with massive doses of Demerol, 6,500 milligrams in just 3 months. Simultaneously, AEG hired Dr. Conrad Murray to administer propofol, a surgical anesthetic, just to help Michael sleep. The result was a chemical assault. By June, the healthy man from January was gone. Michael was shivering in the summer heat, confused and rambling. He was experiencing withdrawal and overdose symptoms simultaneously. The report alleges this was calculated. Keep him confused. Keep him compliant. June 19th, the breaking point. Michael shows up to the Staples Center, trembling and obsessive. He watches a pyrotechnics demo and turns to the stage manager with a chilling question. "Michael, you aren't going to kill the artist, are you?" He wasn't talking about the fireworks. That same night, AEG executives threatened to pull the plug. They told Michael if he didn't get it together, he would lose everything. His money, his catalog, perhaps even his children. They refused to advance him money for his staff, claiming he was in anticipatory breach of his contract. Michael Jackson died on June 25th. Here is the detail that should make your blood run cold. Michael was scheduled for a second, mandatory insurance physical the very next day, June 26th. A physical he would have certainly failed due to the drugging, which would have voided AEG's insurance policy. He died just hours before that exam could happen. On the very day Michael died, AEG Live filed their insurance claim. They didn't mourn. They filed paperwork. And the final twist? Days before his death, while Michael was drugged and incapacitated, John Branca, the man Michael had fired and investigated, reappeared with a rehiring letter. After Michael died, Branca produced a will that gave him control of the estate. The family claimed it was a forgery. Michael. The report claims Branca told Michael's mother, "I am Michael Jackson now." Since his death, the estate has generated billions. The catalog was safe. The debts were paid. The freak was gone, but the asset remained. Michael Jackson was worth more dead than alive. And according to this report, that was the plan all along. To understand how isolated Michael truly was, we have to go back to 2001. After the 9/11 attacks, Michael did what he always did. He wrote an anthem. He gathered the biggest stars in the world for a charity single. What more can I give? McDonald's offered $20 million to distribute it. It was poised to be another "We Are the World." But it never happened. The project was sabotaged from the inside. The executive producer was a man named Mark Schaffel, a man with a dark past in gay pornography. The report alleges Schaffel was planted in Michael's camp by none other than Dr. Arnold Klein. Just as the song was ready to launch, the story of Schaffel's past was leaked to the press. McDonald's pulled out. The song was buried. Who leaked it? The report points to Paul Baresi, a celebrity sleuth with ties to the LAPD and Sony. The scandal conveniently discredited Michael right in the middle of his war with Sony. The charity project died, and Michael's credibility took another hit. Quote from Michael, "They never thought that this performer would outthink them. The circle around Michael wasn't just corporate, it was allegedly criminal." Enter Al Malnick, a lawyer and businessman known as the heir apparent to the legendary mobster Meyer Lansky. 2000 and 2002, Malnick became Michael's financial savior, loaning him millions. But Michael soon suspected Malnick was conspiring with Tommy Mottola to seize the ATV catalog. Michael didn't just have suspicions, he had intelligence. In 2003, he hired Interfor, a corporate espionage firm run by a former Mossad agent. The resulting report was explosive. It detailed a tight business relationship between Michael's lawyer, John Branca, and his enemy, Tommy Mottola. It alleged a scheme to defraud Michael by diverting funds into offshore Caribbean accounts. When Michael read the report, he cleaned house. He fired Branca. He cut off Malnick. He brought in the Nation of Islam for protection, fearing a hit. For a brief moment, the music mafia was locked out. But as we know, they found a way back in. He parallels to Elvis Presley are haunting. Both icons died of drug-related heart failure while preparing for massive tours. And one man was present for both tragedies, Paul Gongaware, the co-CEO of AEG Live. Gongaware managed Elvis's final tour. In emails before Michael's death, Gongaware wrote, "I was on the Elvis tour when he died, so I kind of knew what to expect." But the most damning evidence might be the timeline itself. Michael died on June 25th. The very next day, June 26th, he was scheduled for a second, rigorous medical exam for the insurance policy. The promoters knew the drug-addled Michael would fail this exam. If he failed, the insurance policy, worth hundreds of millions, would be void. Michael died mere hours before that exam could take place. With Michael dead, the asset was up for grabs. But who would control it? John Branca, the man Michael had fired and investigated for fraud, produced a will. The will gave Branca total control of the estate. But there was a problem. The will was dated July 7th, 2002, and supposedly signed by Michael in Los Angeles. But on that exact day, Michael Jackson was famously in New York City, launching his attack on Sony and calling Tommy Mottola a devil. He was 3,000 miles away from where the will was allegedly signed. The family screamed forgery. They sent letters. They demanded resignations. But the court accepted the document. The takeover was complete. In a letter from Michael's siblings, Janet, Jermaine, Randy, they accused the executors of coarse manipulation. They cited a chilling moment between John Branca and Michael's mother, Catherine. According to the family, Branca looked at the grieving mother and said, "I am Michael Jackson now." Today, the estate has generated billions. The debts are paid. The catalog is secure. The conspiracy theories are dismissed as madness, but the report leaves us with a simple, brutal conclusion. Michael Jackson was worth more dead than alive. He was an artist who tried to break free from his handlers, and for that, he paid the ultimate price. The king is dead. Long live the bank account. We have shown you the motive. We have shown you the weapon. We have introduced you to the men who stood to gain billions from the death of the king of pop. In the next episode, we enter the room. We are going to break down the timeline of June 25th, minute by agonizing minute. We will uncover the mystery of the security surveillance system. Why did the cameras at the Carrollwood mansion, cameras that recorded everything, suddenly go dark in the crucial moments? Who accessed the hard drives before the LAPD arrived? We will introduce you to the mystery man we haven't touched on yet. The man who isolated Michael from his family, sold off his possessions, and was described by Michael himself as a brute. You think you know the story of Dr. Conrad Murray. But what if I told you he was just the fall guy? Why did they wait so long to call 911? What happened during the cleanup before paramedics were allowed inside? And why did the timeline given to the public contradict the evidence found on the scene? The setup is over. The execution begins now. Join us for part 3. You are not going to believe what they found and what they didn't find in the bedroom of the king. Like and subscribe for notification.